Ever heard of a group whose faith is like super secretive?
Uh-huh.
And they've got this history full of empires and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they believe in like reincarnation and this cosmic mind?
Yeah, sounds intriguing.
Right. But it's not some like Dan Brown novel or anything. It's the Druze we're talking about. And today, we're diving deep into their world.
Sounds good.
And get this, we're mainly using their Wikipedia page.
Cool.
We're going way past the surface, you know? Like, why are their origins such a mystery?
Right.
Why all this secrecy around their faith? And what about those cultural quirks, like drinking South American mate? It's going to be wild.
I'm ready.
So, first things first, where did the Druze even come from?
Well, that's been the million-dollar question for ages, you know? Some say ancient Persia, others Iraq. Some even point to the Etrurians. They were a big deal in the Levant back in the day.
Interesting.
But if you ask the Druze themselves, most will trace their roots back to 12, count them, 12 ancient Arab tribes.
12 Arab tribes. Talk about an epic origin story.
Right. It's woven into their language, traditions, even their social structures. It's amazing how those ancient roots still kind of define them today.
Makes sense why they're so connected to Arabic language and culture then. But then there's the whole Israeli Druze thing, right?
Yeah.
The source mentioned it's complicated how they fit in with their Arab identity.
It is. You got to factor in history and politics. When Israel was established, it put Druze living there in a unique situation. Their identity got tangled up with government policies, their place in Israeli society. It's this complex dance between being Druze and being Arab.
Shows you how identity is never simple, huh?
Totally. It's always evolving, shaped by things outside and choices inside.
And speaking of evolving, let's get into their faith. Scholars say it grew out of Ismailism, part of Shia Islam. But here's the kicker.
Oh.
The Druze have their own distinct theology. They're not Islamic.
Interesting. So they branched out.
Like that band that starts in one genre and then, bam, totally reinvents themselves. They've taken bits from Gnosticism, Neoplatonism, even a touch of Christianity.
Wow, a real mix.
All woven together under this veil of secrecy.
I see.
Which reminds me, the source mentioned this practice, taqiyya. What's the deal with that? It's kind of like hush-hush, ancient secret society vibes, right?
Yeah, definitely mysterious.
Okay, so what is it exactly, this taqiyya thing?
Basically, it means keeping your beliefs hidden, especially when things get rough, you know?
And the Druze have definitely seen their share of tough times, historically speaking.
Oh, absolutely. Taqiyya was their way of protecting themselves, their community, their whole faith.
Smart.
The world wasn't always a very welcoming place if you were different.
Yeah, makes sense. So they blended in, laid low, and that's how they survived.
Exactly. It's really remarkable. Shows how much they valued their beliefs.
Holding on to them even when it was dangerous. That takes dedication.
For sure. It's a very human thing, wanting to hold on to what you believe no matter what.
Totally. So we've got these hidden beliefs, mysterious origins. What about their everyday life?
What do you mean?
Is their culture also shrouded in secrecy? You know, like super mysterious rituals, that kind of thing.
It's actually not like that.
Really?
Their culture is pretty connected to the Arabic world, especially in the Levant region.
Levant. Remind me again, where's that?
It's like modern-day Syria, Lebanon, that area.
Ah, right, got it.
So, yeah, they share a lot with other groups there.
So less about secret handshakes and more about just, like, living life.
Pretty much. They speak Arabic, their food's similar to other Levantine cultures.
So, like, if we were hanging out with a Druze family, what would we be eating? Just out of curiosity.
See, probably some hummus, maybe some baba ganoush, kibbeh, stuff like that.
Sounds delicious. And to drink.
You might be surprised they might offer you some mate.
Mate. Like the drink. That's South American, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seems a little out of place.
I know, right? But it goes back to those Syrian migration patterns we were talking about.
Oh, yeah, right. Sometimes a drink can tell a whole story, huh?
Totally. See, Syrian migrants, a bunch of them went to Argentina way back when, like late 1800s, early 1900s.
Wow.
And they brought back this love for mate.
That's so cool.
It caught on with some Druze communities, became a symbol of, like, welcoming people, shared heritage.
I love that.
Right. It shows how connected the world can be, even if it doesn't seem like it.
Makes you think about their relationship with other religions.
Right.
Especially being in mostly Muslim areas, right?
Definitely.
The source mentioned some past conflicts.
Yeah.
Some real tension.
Yeah, it's a complicated history. There's been some tough times.
Because of religious differences.
Yeah, their beliefs are pretty different from some interpretations of Islam.
So how's it going these days?
Yeah.
Have things changed at all?
It's a mixed bag, honestly. There's still that history there, that baggage, But there's also a lot of people working towards peace.
That's good.
Yeah, lots of Druze communities are all about interfaith dialogue now, trying to find common ground.
So maybe there's hope for the future.
I'd like to think so. It just goes to show, even with big differences, you can still find a way to coexist.
I like that. So speaking of groups within groups, we were talking about the whole Ukwal and Juhal thing earlier.
Oh, right, the different levels?
Yeah, like a secret society within a secret society. It's fascinating.
It is pretty intriguing. But it's not about being secretive for the sake of it.
Okay.
It's more about how they approach knowledge, spiritual growth.
So it's like levels of understanding.
Yeah, exactly. You've got the Juhal. Most people, they live by the main principles of the faith.
Makes sense.
Like, being a good person, that kind of thing.
So not everyone's debating deep theological stuff.
Right. And then you've got the Ukwal.
The initiated ones.
Exactly. They're the ones who spent years studying, meditating, the whole 9 yards.
Wow, serious dedication.
They're the guardians of the really deep teachings, the secret wisdom.
Okay, now you got me curious. What kind of wisdom are we talking about here? Like, give me the highlights. So are we talking like ancient secrets here? What kind of stuff do they learn?
Think reincarnation, but like instant.
Instant.
Yeah, they believe you're reborn right away, same earthly plane, new body every time. And the goal...
What's the goal?
To reach this ultimate enlightenment, to become one with, get this, the cosmic mind.
Cosmic mind. That sounds intense. Kind of scary. Kind of awesome.
Right. It's a lot to wrap your head around. You'd probably need to be one of those Ukwal to really grasp it. But basically, it's like this all-powerful intelligence, a divine force in everything.
It's wild how they blend all these different beliefs. Islam, Gnosticism, even ancient Greek stuff. It's like they took bits and pieces and made something totally new.
Exactly. And it shows that faith isn't static. It changes, adapts, takes inspiration from everywhere. It really makes you question those strict categories we put on religion.
It's almost like they took taqiyya, that idea of keeping their beliefs hidden, and applied it to their whole faith. They've adapted to survive, borrowed from others, but never lost that core identity.
It is fascinating, isn't it? Because you'd think all that pressure, all that hiding, would make them less open, but they're surprisingly willing to incorporate outside ideas.
That's really interesting. So how are they keeping that unique identity alive today? The world's changing so fast, right? It seems like everyone's supposed to fit in this one mold.
It's a constant balancing act, for sure, but they have a strong sense of community. Their shared history, their traditions, those are super important no matter where they live.
And they are pretty spread out, right?
Oh, yeah. Lebanon, Syria, Israel, even a big diaspora all over the world.
So even scattered, they're still connected.
Exactly. Their culture, their religious gatherings, the importance of family, it all ties them together.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. This small group holding on to their beliefs, their identity, for centuries. Talk about resilience.
It really shows you the power of tradition, of faith, even in the face of, well, everything.
It's a good reminder that people are complex. You can't just put them in a box and be done with it.
Absolutely. The Druze definitely challenge us to look deeper, to see the richness and diversity, even in groups that seem, kind of homogenous from the outside.
So to everyone listening, if you're even a little intrigued, don't stop here. This was just a taste, a peek into their world.
Yeah, there's so much more out there. Dive into their history, their beliefs, their culture. Who knows what you might find?
Right. Maybe you'll be inspired to go even further.
Yeah.
Unravel the secrets of the cosmic mind for yourself.
Now that would be something.
Definitely. But in the meantime, keep those questions coming. Keep exploring. You never know where curiosity might lead you. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. But trust me, the conversation's just getting started.